All right, if we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now if we can remain standing in honor of our armed forces and our first responders. Call me to order. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the March meeting. Beautiful sunshiny day. I know you guys all probably rather be outside. Just so everybody is aware, our meetings are being recorded, so sound and video. So let's get started. Recommended action that the board approves the regular meeting of 2/21/23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Recommended action that the following claims be approved and the clerk to draw the checks. Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we got a special thing here we're going to do first, an oath of office, that I really look forward to these. We have 3 new police officers that are going to be joining our police force. And I'm looking for my oath of office.
The actual oath, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a copy of the oath in here somewhere. We got a lot of stuff. Yes. All right. Okay, so if you guys could please raise your right hand and repeat after me, and after I say aye, state your name. I, on this 21st day of March of 2023,
On the 21st day of March 2023,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of New York,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of New York,
and the laws of the Village of Attica,
the laws of the Village of Attica,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against enemies, foreign and domestic,
and defend them against enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of a full-time police officer for the Village of Attica,
the duties of a full-time police officer for the Village of Attica,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the force. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You make me lose sleep.
Okay. Or you want to send me? Yeah. You can just send me the pictures.
We are.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You're welcome. Oh, I always like doing those. Now, at this time, before we get into the committee reports, I'd like to open it up to the floor if anybody has anything. If anybody has anything they'd like to bring forward to the board? No? Committee reports then. Public safety first.
Go for it. You want us to? Since last time we all gathered here, we had 18 ambulance calls, which has gone down finally, and 6 fire calls. 1 was in mutual aid, 4 were in the town, 1 was in the village. Right now, the trucks are in the process of being serviced, inspected, and just make sure they're all okay. We've had a couple of those calls. One was a CPR call. I'm not sure if you might have something a little bit about that later. The paramedic unit did come. The guy's been a paramedic like for 38 years. Salt said he gave and the rest of the crew a couple attaboys on how they didn't have to do anything crazy. Everything was done for them. So that was really good. That's great, especially for a couple of our young ones who are in the process of getting down their EMT, doing CPR. They did a hell of a job, this guy said. So that was really good to hear that they did that. And then during the snowstorm, we ended up going up to by the high school, assisted the village PD with a head-on crash right when school was letting out, and it was quite the traffic jam. And flatbeds got there. Main Street was backed up probably down to Laurel Drive for the removal of the vehicles. And then we also assisted in the corner with removal again for the CPR call. On that, not too much.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead, Hans.
Has the department put together their specs yet for that truck?
We are having a meeting tomorrow night with another company to start going over.
Okay.
So they report a little bit more next.
Good. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I have the Wyoming County EMS mutual aid plan that the mayor needs to sign. Hope you did it? Okay. You tell me that.
Tell me.
I will turn that into them, and then the state has to have a copy of it.
Right.
So I'm good.
That's it? This one quick. Dean? Oh, this one's gonna take a while.
No. Since the last time we met, we've answered 285 complaints, 5 motor vehicle accidents, 8 domestics, strange around the corner. We handled 1 fraud case. They got scammed out of $1,580. We did 3 community policing events. Have issued 58 traffic tickets and 12 parking tickets. We've had a DWI arrest. During the middle of the storm, he decided to do 60 and a 30 down Exchange Street. We did 1 car seat check and 2 funeral escorts. Since the last time we met, we've had 5 weather alert bulletins. Starting with the ice storm and progressed from there. On the 22nd day of the ice storm, we handled 12 weather-related incidents, 1 including my house. The Opera House on Exchange Street, and we've been working with Julie and Doug. It's got many broken windows, and thanks to Jay, made us aware of the plywood that has fallen off the back of the building. So I believe building codes is on top of that.
Yes.
We have a new level 1 sex offender registered in the village. And they mentioned about the MVA at Maplewood and Maine at dismissal time. We had an MVA on West Main Street. And our car was already there on another MVA. It was during one of the weather events. And this full-size Dodge 1-ton pickup truck hauling a trailer with cars on it came down, couldn't stop, and almost took out our officer and our police car. So he got a ticket for not supposed to be on that road. First Street. Yesterday, within 10 minutes, we had 2 MVA hit and runs. Both to public property damage. 1 hit a fire hydrant, and 1 took out one of the black bollards down in Market and Maine. Officer Young located and identified both operators, and they were ticketed. And we're working with DPW and village office for the village to be reimbursed for damage. We've had Sally Meissner passed away. That's Tommy Meissner's sister-in-law. Eugene McDonald, Mildred Frankie passed away at the Gateway House, and Gary Fedricks. Our threat assessment plan is almost complete. Got an email from Albany. from DCJS, and when they started this police reform, if you recall, I had mentioned numerous times that their final goal is to have every law enforcement agency in the state of New York accredited. It started. I have until March 31st to become compliant with, and they're calling it the Law Enforcement Agency Accreditation Council.
Did we go through a firm? On this? Did we? No, we went through something that would cover this.
Well, yeah, it's our Lexipol policies.
Lexipol, that's right.
Yeah. One is there's section, or the standard 9.1 reporting requirements, and that's use of force. And then standard 12.1 hiring standard. There's a whole bunch of stuff I have to get together, and along with our policies, scan, and send it to all them. And then they call me back and say, good to go, or no, not. So it's just a start. And that's all I've got. Gentlemen, have a question?
Question for the chief? Busy night. Like everybody wants to get out in the nice weather.
It's sunny out, and it's kind of warm.
All right, so liaison?
You can go first, Hans.
Oh, geez, I skipped DPW. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to get out.
I wouldn't mind split.
I just,
It's getting a little busier at the water plant. A lot of stuff's going on with the engineers for the new plant design, and we're also in the middle of going with the same engineering firm about the water district to go outside with the water mains. So busy with a lot of that stuff up there. We're going to really get cranking here, probably the next final design of the plant. How everything's going to work. Other than that, I just got some numbers for you guys for the beaver problem.
I went up and looked at it. Wow.
Yeah. My brother was trapped by the spillway. I asked Eric, he didn't want to do it because he was afraid somebody was going to be there. So my brother did that. He got 6 beaver. They're gone. There's no more there. We got 5 beaver at number 1. Dave Polson got those. 1 beaver at number 2. The south side of number 3, 10 beaver. And he's going to get, we gave him a special use pass to canoe across to like the Mickey Mouse ears out there.
Yep.
He's going to try to get some more out of there this year. They'll never be gone, but we'll have them under control. So me and Corey will go up with chest waders and start breaking up the dams a little bit and put some other gets a little bit
Terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of water. Now, is this something
No, the
that,
YouTube channel's Tanner, right?
now, shouldn't this be something the town should handle?
It's actually on our property. Because that, we own that whole, almost up to the culvert. Village Vatican. Larry said he'd help me if I needed to get that reach out there, but his wasn't even long enough. So we'd have to get like the one we get when we clean.
Mhm.
But I think we'll be all right. We're just gonna take our time and
Yeah.
make sure it's good to go. If we can, they're not gonna dam anything up because there's more there, so we'll just wait until it's dry. There's up.
Yeah, I guess I'd be careful.
22 beaver total. No. We had a problem.
Big family. Big family.
Yeah, to say the least.
Okay, Gary and I met with Greg. There's a tree at 67 Genesee Street that had a branch, last little storm we had hanging from it, and the property owner requested electric company to take the tree down. The tree is huge, been there for, before the electric lines, I guess, were put up. But that tree was designated as not a dangerous tree. It was not to be moved or anything. So the suggestion is that have that lady,
Nancy
Nancy?
Haas. She's our arborist, and
Yeah.
she did inspect it this evening.
Oh.
Yes, so, let me see. She's reporting that the tree at 65 Genesee, which is a silver maple, is in good condition. The tree is budding now, and she says She doesn't see any decay whatsoever. The only two things wrong that she sees is the bottom branch heading towards the owner's house needs to be trimmed back. And the other one is lifting the sidewalk just a little bit. But that's to be expected with such a large tree that's been there a while. She doesn't think it needs to be removed because those were the only two things wrong with it. I mean, I think they could trim the branch that's heading towards the homeowner's house, but it's up to you guys what you'd like to do.
Was that 65 or 67?
I think it's kind of in between. Yeah.
Probably knows which branch.
It's probably so big that it's spreading onto the two trusses.
Well, that was the question that I don't want to be taking down a tree that is healthy.
I mean, yeah, with it growing buds on it right now.
So, trim it some? Or-
Doesn't the power company trim them?
Yeah.
They will.
Power
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, like Justin has the number for the gentleman who stopped in yesterday. So,
Yeah, they prefer to trim.
Yeah, as long as they don't cut it down. Right? 'Cause they were going to cut the whole tree down.
Oh, they wanted.
that's what they wanted to do.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't want them to do that.
And they are butchers. You know, they don't care what the tree looks like after it's done.
Right, well, he came in the office yesterday and saw we were at Tree City USA, so then he was like, uh-oh. But, yeah, so whatever you guys want to do. I mean, maybe they could trim that branch, you know, we could give them a call tomorrow and see if that would be acceptable, but it's up to you guys.
Is it safe for our guys to do this?
I think they would do it. National Grid would
Oh,
probably
yeah.
do it, yeah,
Just trim the branch in it?
yeah.
Well,
that branch
probably
going-
around power lines too.
Yeah, they do like
Yeah,
a
they do
5-year
that,
plan
yeah.
and they cut stuff.
They can go how far up from the lines, 10 feet?
That I'm not sure.
15.
They have a standard or something.
15
They just
foot?
take past my house.
Okay, I know there is a standard.
I don't know if it's same for towns. I know they cut quite a ways back. Just makes the tree kind of awful.
Mhm.
Do you want to have do it, or do we want to do it right the way we would like it?
Yeah, I mean, around the power lines scares us a little bit, but
Yeah.
so if we, it all depends on how far they go back. I mean, if they go way back, then we're ahead of the game here.
What is that? If that limb heading towards the house isn't obstructing power lines.
I think the homeowner was nervous, you know, during this last ice storm, you know.
No, but I'm saying like the power company, they say, well, that's not not obstructing our line, so we're
Right.
not gonna cut that.
I would think
Discussion we can have with them tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you guys are in agreement, maybe not to take it down,
Yeah, it sounds like we shouldn't take it down.
that's what it,
A
okay.
light trim.
A light trim.
Now, did they wanted it down, or they?
They're willing to cut the whole. Yeah.
We have a contract.
Yeah, we'll discuss it further and
Okay,
come up with something.
okay.
Although we have redo our trailer that hauls the that we had problems with because of level 1 or Class A driver. We classify that to weight, and then our pickup truck we have now is big enough, strong enough to haul it, so we don't have to worry about it.
Just as long as we don't put the weight that's
You
on
know,
it.
the weight can't go beyond that level that we adjusted. I don't think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
Did he-
Dougie has a Class A license.
But he's
But
only
he's,
one.
he's in the sewer plant.
Right,
and
and he's
only-
willing to move it wherever the guys want it, but they'd like to be able to move it themselves, so.
And it only makes sense, we don't use it for anything larger than mini excavator. So it only makes sense to just re-register it and utilize it for what we were, but now everybody will be legal to drive.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's,
Brought out the 2 accidents there. Just as far as, it was, hydrant was moved about 4 inches. He was gonna go up and check it and see if there was any.
And Justin was supposed to do that.
Yeah, we haven't heard from anything beyond that. Check it today to see if there's any major.
Yeah, Justin said that they were gonna go up and evaluate it and then let me know on the second.
I'll move about 4 inches. And the sewer line on West Main Street there, went across the street, not there to do that yet. But we had to go main on that one. Because it was all right over to the. And they're process of trimming some. They're in. That's probably every year. That's pretty much what they are doing right now. Nothing from that. Gary, was anything?
Evaluating a new sidewalk machine.
Eventually, we're going to have to get a new sidewalk. Not decided at this. How long it would last.
Well, it was supposed to last 3 years ago.
It's
Well,
a
so
20-year-old
far-
machine now.
Yeah.
Junior, I know, has been a rock star keeping this thing alive. Yeah. I know we bid on a couple of them that we lost out on. I think a new machine was somewhere around 125,000, if I'm not mistaken, but that was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Now
They got 117, possibly.
Right. Because the trackless, to replace our trackless with another one, virtually the same, is close to $2,000.
So what is this one?
This one here is smaller, but it'll do the job and it'll fit where he has to be.
It weighs about the same amount as our current machine, because I asked him that. And it articulates in the middle, and it's almost like a miniature payloader.
So that would come with the 2 buckets, other equipment. Then wanted to put get fork. We could that also addition could be used for a lift.
What about the broom?
Room.
We utilize the broom more
Yeah,
so than that.
that 117 would cover pretty much.
I know we've been stashing some money aside for quite some time. I don't know how much we have, but look into
I
it.
think it's
Yeah.
called a Giant. That one?
The Giant?
Giant,
I've
yeah.
never even heard that one.
Cool machine.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I've seen the catalog.
Yeah.
Does everything. The V-plow is not just a V-plow, it actually does like a pickup truck. So you can
Oh.
scoop, you can do everything with it. So
Oh.
for sidewalks, it would be pretty cool. The guy came with a 54-inch wheelbase, and it was just a little bit too big for our sidewalk, so he's coming out with a 48-inch wheelbase, and we're going to try that one here probably in a
Ricketts.
Yeah.
Scoop and lift?
scoop lift. It does, yeah, it's kind of,
downtown.
Blower.
it's got
You can
a
get
snow
all- you can
blower,
get all the
Brush?
attachments.
brush, broom for the streets. You can get pavement grinders, you know, you can get everything for it. It's endless. It's like a Bobcat, but it's not a Bobcat. It's articulating in the center, so it'd be fine to go around corners with the sidewalks. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
At this particular price, it'd be pretty much all what we want other than work for lift. This would include a blower, sweeper, plow, buckets, 2 buckets.
What would the fork be used for?
We don't need the forks. We got that for the big loader.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
not gonna put it, you're not gonna put one of the guys in to do the banners or anything with it because it's so small that the counterweight would kind of be a little tipsy for him. So you probably, with our new loader, we'd be fine with that with the forks on. I wouldn't think forks would be.
Unless they have
So-
any other.
That'll be a little, I guess, he said something about getting it places. That's all.
And that's
Yeah, with
relatively
advantage.
cheap attachment, because
Yeah.
that's just forks or nothing.
Yeah, have them get the information to us and.
Got the catalog.
They're working on it.
All right.
That was, anything else here?
That's it.
Now,
Now we're on the lead.
Talked about the contract, what was it?
Oh, with the
The okay on the contract with us?
senior citizens?
Yeah.
They're gonna use the same type of setup that we have with senior citizens, it sounded like. Ready to go forward with it. They just want some paperwork from them, yeah.
Lawyer just needs,
Same type of thing that we're looking for. Yeah.
just need to place somebody to sign the agreement on behalf.
That will probably be Sharon.
Yeah.
She's the president,
She's the president.
and you're the vice president.
And only a client.
Yeah, well, I'm a vice president acting for a short period of time.
Oh, you really are?
Yes. The vice president had a medical problem and cannot function. That might be a couple, 3 months. So they asked me if I would fill in for the position while she was unable.
Yeah, good for you. Good.
Now, okay.
But it's good that that group set up basically a board of directors, so they have some oversight. Do the things that they should be done. They're really moving it forward.
Yeah, good. Have some people at work too.
Solar project, Stevens, new life to it, I guess. One of the changes that is going to happen is they're going to have the access road from Maple Street rather than East Main. Going to be smaller. Other plan, because apparently the panels can use more watts than the other, more efficient than what the original ones were. So that's why they can make it smaller. But biggest thing is, I guess, the access road is going. Of course, they're going to have to go through all the other stuff that they have to do with. Just like, yeah, so.
But the scope of the project remains the same.
Was it a different company that took over?
That's Solar Liberty?
That's what we dealt with Solar Liberty. Hopefully they go through it.
They're ready to do it this summer if everything goes smooth.
They seemed energetic when we were dealing with
Possible,
bottom fell out.
possible starting, I got here 6-1, 7-1. Everything goes good. Buying a new large truck. Apparently they're putting in old vehicles. I guess
And the
the
new
last, yeah, and the last one was ticket repaired. That have no new news on the pickup truck that they're waiting on. Available. And then their purchasing of salt, going to be American Rock, I guess. Compass is what they were getting it from. Apparently, we dealt with that problem also. It's not the best product.
Comes in like a slurry.
Not rock salt. A lot more.
American Rock. That, I guess the county, we have to go with the county bid.
Yes.
But he mentioned something about there's a New York State Salt Act that
Yeah.
we can utilize. We should probably check into that.
Local.
Something they recently passed out of Albany that even if there's some kind of state agreement that if you can buy it within the state, you're allowed to disregard the other agreement. That's the way they explained it.
Something like that. There's a way around it that we and not go through the county bid. I think the county's going to.
American Rock Salt, probably.
Everybody's pretty much fed up with Compass. Assessment. They start again this year. We're at, I think, At 86%,
Then you said 90.
it's not 100%.
No.
And that's where they want to be. And if you wait too long, well, then all of a sudden, say you're paying $1,000 and all of a sudden, huge increase. Real shocker. So they want to keep it current. So good possibility that they might be doing it this year. Chamber of Commerce has set up what, business frontage
Yeah, improvements.
improvements, village, cover the concert, park, Winterfest.
Got a scavenger hunt July
Yep, July.
13th.
Who is it? Is that Linda?
Yeah, the chamber's going to do that. And concert series is about the same, July and August.
It's fun.
Mhm.
A lot of walking.
Yeah. They did bring up also that the not using camera county meetings anymore. What did they say? What was it?
The audio was cutting out, and wouldn't, like if the audio cut out on us right now, we don't. And there was people sending nasty messages to them that they were intentionally shutting the audio off when they wanted to, and doing, even though it's on, they can't tell what they're talking about and make rules. And said we're not going to do
Spectrum, as far as their increased coverage for townships and that, I haven't heard anything. Solar project on Exchange Street, there is no good progression on that one either. That's just about, must be close to the limit on their time. Have to start over fresh again. And talk to them at length for wind towers. Totally against wind towers, solar,
and so
many different reasons had there, but he had a discussion there and brought to their part some of the problems with wind towers, solar panels, stuff like that. I understand that we're best New York State as far as wind on the hill. We're considered one of the better places to have towers. So we won't, but the town
I don't want to be on that.
would. So that's what they indicated, that one of the found out that these companies will be approaching the town shortly. Oh, yeah, say, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Every conversation starts out.
ones that are out there.
That was one of the problems this guy brought up. He says one of the blades busted in one of the areas, Orangeville, yeah. And fiberglass is all over. Really did a number.
I have a friend of mine that works for GE. I asked him, he's against the windmills, but he says he's thankful for them because it gives him his job because he's constantly fixing them. The amount of money that they put into them. Things maybe
And if
go
you
away.
notice, they leak a lot of oil too.
Yeah.
So this green friendly energy. Great.
Yep.
So that was about it. Anything else?
All right. Been a long meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, it was.
is the Sawyer solar project?
That's the
still
exchange.
going?
That's the Exchange Street.
That's Exchange Street,
That's
yeah.
still going?
That, well, they haven't had any action on that in quite some time. Over them, or that was a financial problem, I think. So it stopped that.
That's what it sounded like.
So whether if they don't get going at a certain date, they start over from scratch with all the permits and everything else. get close to their time limit.
All right, so moving on, nobody from the planning board, so Julie, village administrator.
Unfortunately, our recreation director resigned, so we're looking to get a new recreation director. So it's okay with you, I'll put an ad in the County Saver and put it on. Tomorrow. Find somebody new. Also, our steering committee for our comprehensive plan has been meeting. We've met twice. Things are going real well there. And any of you guys in the audience, we do have a survey. Whether you live in the village or out in the town or just passing through, they're right on the desk up there. Feel free to take one.
Just a short survey. It'll take you about 5 minutes to do the survey. Just some questions, some ideas, what we'd like to see, what you would like to see the village move. Right there on the desk. Share them. The more ideas, the better. I hear from
And banners, Hometown Hero banners, we sold 9 this year. So things are starting to wind down. It's kind of good because we're running out of poles. That's about it. Everything else is going well.
To add on to youth recreation, I have talked to a few people who we indicated, came actually from John Spink, the principal of high school first, that we get put together a letter like we once did back 2 years ago to
Yes.
the
For
elementary
sign-ups.
school students. Let them know that the program is running and what the hours, the dates and all that is. He was 100% favorable to that. We have to work in conjunction with how we progress with that. There was some question in reference to the Prospect School of having a program down there, but that apparently is not happening.
Probably not this year. Healthy Kids does the after-school program, and there was talks that they were going to do a summer youth program. But I reached out to Sherry Bennett, and it might not happen this year, but possibly next year. She wasn't 100% sure. So I think we should continue our rec program this year.
We have at least 2 volunteers for the director that will be applying, that I am aware of. And I'm talking to most of the kids that were hired last year. All but maybe one probably will be coming back.
Oh, well, good.
Even that one is questionable.
Work on it.
Yeah.
We'll continue the hours during the afternoon because they do have that reading and math program in the mornings at the school. So we'll continue doing the new 5.
And I explained it to them, what it was going to be. Because they thought that there was not going to be a program. So they were kind of going their own separate ways, and I told them that we will do it this year. And then we'll go from there.
I like the program.
The numbers have been down since COVID, you know. So,
Yeah.
but
I'm
hopefully
trying
we'll
to get
get
some
them.
more advertising out and see it.
Mhm.
Is that it, Julie? Or
Oh, yeah, that's
any questions for Julie? Anybody have any old business? Any new business? Discussion of Carl's water bill. You guys get got handed today from Tim Moran on it. So,
I talked to Greg, Gary and I both, and the inside meter that's at the house, inside the basement, sends a message to the one outside, and that's where the fault was, is the one outside was at saying 0 usage. And I guess we felt that there was nobody living there, so that's why it was 0 for a while, right?
not necessarily. So the remote is on the outside of the house, and that's what signals the meter inside. And what it did was it kind of slowed down, but he has an apartment, and we didn't, think too much of it as somebody living there or not living there, we just put him through the guys put him in the handhelds, and that's the way it is. And then all of a sudden, the remote stopped. So the guys ended up changing it out, and then when they went in to replace the meter, the old meter to the new RF meter, there was a lot of usage. So that signal between the two, they weren't lining up. So he actually used that water, but
So the readings on the readings on the meter in the basement
correct.
are correct.
Are correct, yes.
And you have had contact with him.
Yeah,
And
but 2 different
you-
times. I did credit him. So a minimum bill is from 0 to 6,000 gallons. And there were times that he, say, used 3,000 gallons during this time. So I credited him that 3,000 for that minimum bill. So I ended up crediting him for 24,000 gallons. While it was going on, we were checking things and looking at the meter. We got pictures of the meter. I stopped. I didn't charge him any late fees or anything like that for it. So, yeah.
So
And
basically,
he was-
what we would be charging him now for is the actual gallons that went through the meter in the basement.
Correct, yes.
Minus the credits that you.
Minus the credits from the minimum bill. And we've done that for people in the past. Like, this has happened before. You read somebody's meter, and that, like I said, the signal, like those remotes slow down sometimes. That's why it's good we're replacing all our meters with these radio frequency meters.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
That's his replaced.
Yes, his is replaced, yep. So, right on with it now. But like I said, we've done it for people in the past. If they paid a minimum bill, say it's $2,000, we've credited them for that $4,000. Because they were gonna pay $40.50 anyway.
Yeah, he reached out to me about it, and I called him just to try to get some clarity on it. And I said, just, let us know, through an email and send it to Julie and stuff, just so you guys were aware of it.
Yeah,
But, I guess if the number's down in the, if that's not faulty down there, then
since I've been here, and I've been always told by the DPW that the meter, they slow down.
yeah.
They never speed up. So like an older meter, maybe they typically use 18,000. It might start slowing down where they're maybe using 12,000, But they don't ever speed up.
So it would be fair then that we charge him just for the gallons that went through that basement meter.
That
Correct.
was actually used.
Correct. Just his actual usage.
I would think you'd be okay with that.
I would think, he used the water,
And we could offer to let them do a payment plan, because I know it's a rather substantial bill now.
How much is it?
I think with the credit that I gave him, it's 500.
Yeah, that still owes, plus his continuing bills.
Yeah, like we're good to work with, like we went,
Yeah.
And no late fees.
We work with people all the time.
And he was quoting some law.
Yeah.
Can't go back a couple years. None of this is from.
Not that I can see, no.
Him in here said he did any research on it. I don't. No, should we,
I gave it to him
Cautious on that.
to look at it because I don't know that law.
so he really
So-
doesn't have an answer on that. Should we
So
wait for an answer on that?
If you
or-
want to wait, we can wait.
But and as long as none of these charges are from years ago, then he doesn't have a leg in on for that.
Right, right. If you want to wait for Tim's response,
We reached out to him on it due to this. Maybe we should wait to get clarity on it and then
Okay.
proceed. But, I would think in the end, work with him.
yeah.
Work with him the best we possibly can. Right.
I think he did it now.
May have been 8-2 fixed.
Well, there's a toilet or something.
There was something going on At one point, yeah, because he used quite a bit of
Yeah.
water that summer. Yeah.
All right, so we'll table that until we get a response from the lawyer. Moving on here. Recommended action of the Board of Trustees sets April 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m. as a date and time to set a budget hearing for the 2023-2024 budget.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action that the village approves the bank reconciliation report, month ending in February.
Motion.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Recommended action, the village board approves the following resolution for Arbor Day. You guys read that, but this is going to be for our Arbor Day. It's going to take place this year, April 28th, oh, same day. Oh, no, it's the 28th. April 28th, 2023 will be Arbor Day in the village of Attica.
I move.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action, the village approves the purchase of a John Deere X570 tractor. Cost of the tractor is $8,069. I was going to ask you, is this just a lawnmower tractor?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say that's a cheap John Deere tractor.
It's for the sewer plant.
Okay. A little cheaper than the Kubota.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll move.
Second.
Sounds like we're all in favor. We'll do it anyway. Opposed? Recommended action, the village approves the purchase of the Kubota front loader for the water treatment plant. New York State contract discount of $4,805.18. Final cost making it $18,230.07.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended action, the village approves the public market financing option recommendation for the water treatment plant, 30 years or less, depending on the final cost.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Recommended action, the village appeals the amendment of Chapter 54-28A from the previous meeting. Well, that was something that I guess we looked into, and we're better off with what we had to begin with.
It's,
Yeah.
Second.
The firemen are, meaning the firemen are better off, not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
villages. Yeah. We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's good. Recommended action, the village board approves the training request for Douglas Beats and Evan Krozak to attend the free workshop on March 31st in Cheektowaga. Going to be on coatings and corrosion. They'll receive 5 accredited hours.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Recommended action, the village approves the Upstate Automotive Easter egg hunt on April 8th. We have a few more. Do you want to do these one at a time?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do one at a time. So we'll do the Upstate Easter egg hunt on April 8th. Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. An action on the Accessions Outpost event. I did talk to Dean. He's going to talk to Chris. Yeah. Just to make sure public safety, we're on the same board here. We'll entertain a motion to accept.
I have a question about
I was going to reach out to him and say, it would be nice for you to maybe come, because I'm sure there's going to be some questions.
it. Right. I mean, it's not going through the Chamber of Commerce. It's like he wants to do his own thing, which I don't know is good or bad, but does he have any buy-in from any other businesses? Or he's going to go around after we approve the ability for him to do it? Is that what we're doing?
Did he, when he?
He just mentioned like he'd like, people just visit the businesses in the village.
Yeah, from
And
what
there
I
might be, like,
understand.
people out on the sidewalks and things, and he'd like some activities. Like he really, when that scavenger hunt from Main Street, they did that.
Mhm.
He just thought that was the greatest thing because it brought a lot of people into his business. And he goes, I'd love to do something like that over the summer.
I think it's pretty neat. I really do. He talked to me about it around Christmas time. Wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
after, yeah.
Yep.
It sounds like it's similar to like Warsaw sales, where it's set up a table.
Yeah. There might be something.
And then additional, because it does additional vendors,
Yeah.
He had mentioned like maybe using somebody at the parking lot or something, and, you know,
yeah, for a food truck or something.
Yeah.
They mentioned
Actually-
the bank. They must have reached out to the bank, I would imagine.
that I don't know.
Parking lot. I noticed on here, I mentioned to you, the date of the event is July 8th. The alternate date is July 1st.
Yeah.
Did you get to him?
I have not talked to him, but I think what he meant by it
The other
is
way around.
if we don't, I don't know if it was a rain date, but I thought maybe if he'd prefer July 8th, but if there's something else going on and you don't approve it, then a second date would be July 1st.
That's kind of.
I think it's
Okay.
because it's close to July 4th, you know, like,
July 8th, you'd probably have a lot more people around. there.
right.
Chief and I were
That would be his preference.
So there is nothing else going on the 8th?
No,
So if we approve it, we approve the 8th?
you're approving the 8th
with an alternative date of the
with the
first.
alternative
If it's rain or something for the forecast, is it?
Well,
Well, I mean, you'll get closer to the, I mean, I imagine once you get too close to it, you're gonna have people lined up for,
Right.
vendors and stuff, what you're looking for.
I think if you approve,
Approve the July
July 8th,
8th,
I'll
yeah.
talk to him.
Yeah, we'll approve the July 8th one.
Yeah, because I think that's the one he wanted.
Yeah.
But
And it's-
I'll make that.
You got a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay. Now,
Mayor, is the Easter egg hunt going to be at Upstate or Dunlap Park?
now the park. Yeah. And they got the, so, for years, it's been the VFW over in Alexander. And then when COVID came, they didn't do it. So, group of us, we wanted to see it continue. But since Upstate, wanted to actually, put forth and actually do it, now we're just going down to help. So it's real great that they stepped up and but with that being said, I reached out to the VFW because last year they had theirs the following Saturday and they're very low attendance. So I reached out to them. They're very, very nice people. And I talked amongst their board, so we're going to combine. So that, yeah. So it'd be great for the community. That's those two. All right, I'll entertain a motion for Founder's Day, which is going to be held 6/3. I thought it was Sunday, 6/4. Are we Saturday, 6/3?
Saturday, always Saturday.
Oh, boy, I'm out of town on that day. Ah, yeah, we'll see.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So this was, did they do this, was it last year or was it 2 years ago? They did do it last year?
The walk,
Yeah.
it was just last year.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that was their first one.
So this is a Western New York Walk for Apraxia. It will be held September 23rd, 2023. Get the big pavilion to the place that walking, they're going to just do the walk and loop.
I'll make that. Second.
Get a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. All right, a lot of special events, I'd like to see that. Coming. All right, so we have you guys all saw the treasurer's report, justice report, and the budget. I did though, that's Easter egg hunt,
Okay, gee. Pause it.
special event.
Okay, got it. Trying to put all these.
Tim Moran's letter regarding the senior citizens, we discussed that a little bit. We'll do that. We discussed Paul's water bill.
Yeah, I got on the senior citizens as acting vice president. Sharon was here, she's the president. She was here last month and she mentioned something about the amount, if we could. It's been 22, our share has been 22, quite a number of years. And they've gone up, of course, well, even since last year.
You don't say.
Yeah, and they are planning on maybe having a trip citizens this year, which they haven't had for quite some time. That runs around $4,000, bottom line, $4,000 for the bus and wherever they might go charged. So that it's close to what they total amount got. Talking about one trip this year, possibly next year. They're going to do some fundraising also, so that they're not only organizations put in their Lions Club or whatever else, but they're going to do
Advanced
some.
Lions Club?
They're going to.
Oh, they haven't yet.
Not yet. But they're going to do some fundraising also to take some money for trips and their other events. And this one here he has the amount. I don't know. Discuss that further or
I think this is for
this year?
this past budget. For next year's budget, we would have to ask for the, she's okay with what she's already
Yeah, 'cause they're one
budgeted
trip
for
this
now.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just hoping to maybe double it in
Next
our
year.
next budget that they're looking at right now.
Okay.
So we should make that.
This
adjustment
will
probably.
be okay then. The 2,200 act.
Yeah, I
No.
talked to her about that.
Okay.
Because I have faith the Lions Club will be, and then we're going to help too.
But I think we could come up with a little.
Sure, absolutely. It's a great, get that going again.
Building that group up.
Yeah.
Too.
Yep. Good.
Now they had 48, I think 48 people there this last Saturday. And I've been to a few of them. And as a senior citizen, that there's been maybe 10, 12, 15. So it is growing and people are attending. You have to have, or hope to have, for a trip, you hope to have 40 people. So, yes.
I talked to Wendy Walsh. She put on the dinner. It was a Kentucky Derby dinner. So she'd like to do that again. Sharon was the one to cook for that. So,
All right.
you know, Wendy's ready to hop aboard to help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the merrier for citizens.
So we do that.
Yeah, once they get it, somebody to check to, and then we look for the next budget here. Up there.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Well, does anybody have anything else to bring forth to the board?
Acting on behalf of After Package and D&D Logging, we'd like to know when the harassment from the village is going to stop. We want to know where we're at.
Are you talking about yesterday?
I'm talking about everything in general, whether it be yesterday,
What happened
Or-
yesterday?
it's I called to ask them to turn the water on and got told we're going to wait until today, which I thought was kind of ironic that they're so busy, but you have two people driving in the vehicle that it's going to take you longer to drive down to our street, turn the water on, than actually do the job. I mean, you're talking 30 seconds to turn a valve, which I thought was ridiculous that you can't turn your water on.
Is that going to be a problem with freezes?
So I asked that because in past, they put a lock system on because we're both going to steal the water from the village. And we've already spent over $5,000 on an RPZ because the village didn't come down and shut it off, so we couldn't unhook our RPZ, which broke our RPZ, which was ridiculous at the same time. So for whatever reason, they didn't put it on this year, which is great that they didn't put it on, but we want to be able to take it off and put it back on. It's been an ongoing thing for years. And why all the other municipalities that we talk to are hooking to the hydrants, which is, we have an RPZ, so it's a backflow preventative, so that it doesn't go back. But yet, we gotta run 1,800 feet of water hose over there is ridiculous too. And that's, we're told that's the way it's supposed to be. Well, it's not. We've looked into it, and it's just what we've been told we have to do. It's not standard.
If it does freeze, you could take it off.
We would take it off before it would freeze, but we couldn't take it off because Greg had to have, according to Doug Post, had to have your lock on it so that we couldn't disassemble it without permission to take it off, so that we couldn't disassemble the meter. And with the amount of water that we're using, it would be kind of a red light that water's disappearing and that there's no meter hooked to it. Not like it's, a couple gallons when we're using your max amount of water every minute. Like, this is childish.
Who fall thing?
What have you heard is standard for other municipalities?
If you have an RPZ, you can hook up to any hydrant that there is, because the backflow prevents it from ever coming back. And at the same time, if you're having a fire, is there a control meter on how much water you're pulling? Our hoses aren't as big, so we're not going to pull as much water as the fire company's going to pull.
Don't see. You're the water.
Yeah, but not with the whole meter thing, that would be more of a Craig thing, Craig and Justin, for hooking up. Yesterday, though, Shannon did call. I called the DPW, and they were not able to do it yesterday. When Shannon had called, they said they could get to it today. So I did call Shannon back at 9 o'clock. So the guys, we came today at 9 and turned the water on for him. So, but not yesterday when Shannon had called. And we do have sheets, and he has it in the past
Never
filled
filled
out.
out a sheet, because in the past, he could put it on for us in the morning, it's gonna freeze, we have to take it off at night.
Can you take it off?
No, you have to take it off, because you have a padlock, you have a lock on it.
Now, why do we need to lock?
That's
I
a
don't-
That's a Doug Post question.
I have no idea. I don't know why it's locked.
I mean, homeowners don't lock.
No.
Well, they're not connecting and disconnecting.
But there's a meter on it. You're gonna know
Right.
if they're using.
So our RPZ has your meter on it, which is, you're not gonna take it off. And what doesn't make any sense is the two joints don't even go together. So even if we took your meter off, the RPZ doesn't hook to the line for the village. It's dumb. It literally is stupid.
Is there a way to put just like permanent pipeline in there that's gonna be metered, that they can use whenever
The
they?
problem is the
Freezing.
temperature, the freezing. You'd have to put it in a building that would be heated. And where we wanted to come off of it across from the office, there's a hydrant right there, which is the closest access, so that you're not driving over the hose, something's gonna break. And so that was like the whole purpose. And for us, we've moved away from a particular neighbor that complains, which is the whole reason that we're doing stuff further away towards the tracks. Just kind of common sense.
So,
We're drawing water from Jackson Street, taking it all the way over across from where our office is.
I'm just wondering to eliminate a lot of the middle people. What if it's a small structure that you're gonna throw some heat in? And then, it's just like a residential where the
But
meter's
the
gonna.
only, so the issue would be is you'd be pulling off of whatever for one building, you'd have a separate whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which is, there's nothing on that side of the building, or on that side of the road, that would be electric.
Oh.
That's the issue, otherwise we'd already had it.
3 years ago, we looked into that, and it was rather expensive.
Right. So that's why, like I say, we hooked up, I've talked to City, I've talked to Pembroke, I've talked to Corfu, all the municipalities that we get along with. Hey, what would you do? A ton of work in the city. You just have you hook up to hydrant with your RPZ. I'm like, well, I kind of thought so. But I don't get why we can't.
The main reason I can speak up a little bit
Yeah,
first, the
I was
main
gonna ask
reason
you.
is, there's laws in Attica. Attica has a law that we don't want hooked up to hydrants because of Buffalo had an instance where somebody was fertilizing their yard. The guy wasn't trained on an RPZ, not saying you're not trained on it, but he hooked it up backwards and he put fertilizer in the fire hydrants that went through the whole system. So, not saying you would do it, but Attica doesn't want that responsibility to put on you. That's why they don't want it. It's, I mean, it's kind of like, we're not picking on you, no one's allowed to. I mean, the railroad wanted it, what, 2 years ago when they hook up water to their train and we couldn't do it. They couldn't take water from us, from the hydrant right next to the track.
Now, what if, because I used to be a backflow device tester for years. Now, what if they were to put the backflow device on?
Correct. I don't, where they got it in the little pit right down Jackson Street, it's not a big deal where he's hooking it up and he,
Well, I just mean it could be tested and inspected, and then they could bring down the
So we have to
paperwork.
have it tested and inspected every year
Exactly.
before we use it.
Yeah, so I mean, once you, well, you wouldn't reattach or detach anymore, would you?
No.
So it would just stay on.
right. But the problem, it was, the law that the village had was they didn't want anyone to do it, and not to say him or anything, but it's, you can't hook his up any way other than the correct way. And he's not gonna have anything going back, but we can't do for one that we can't do for everybody. It's the type deal, we'd have to change that in our rules, to say that people could hook up to that. But in our rules, we have for water.
In our code book.
In our code book. It's nothing, we're not picking on Shannon, we're not picking on his business. The railroad wanted it, we couldn't do it. When they had the thing up at the train derailed, I had to give them the water from the water plant for my backflow in trucks. So, I mean, it's just a part of the code.
So
We
it's
could-
fine if it's part of the code, but if we call and we need something done, and it's as simple as turning it on, it shouldn't be a big deal. The whole point of yesterday was the weather. We're gonna have 2 good days in a row. We have orders, we have a business to run, we have people that are already looking for our product. And we were delayed a day because someone couldn't drive down and turn. So we understand because the temperatures are going to, we may work past 3 o'clock or whatever, time. You're going to have to come down because it's going to freeze. Okay, we can work with that. But if we're going to make a call and ask for something and it wasn't unreasonable, there wasn't any big emergency going on in the village, I don't understand why it can't. And why all of a sudden we have to fill the form when we've never done that. It seems as though you're trying to impede on our business and what we're trying to do. And it may not be that.
No, it's not,
But it
because we
seems
did the
like that.
form, there's not too many people that need water turned on and off, but there was an issue years ago with AYA, and it was going through the Craig to whoever the president was or somebody from AYA, and there was a big miscommunication, and water, the meter froze, and one saying they didn't tell me to do it, so I said, you know what, let's have a form so there's not going to be any miscommunication. So we've been doing the form for, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years now, but it's nothing against,
But
it was
We've
created.
never done the form, so it's
Well, that
new
was-
to us.
Right, and you guys never called the office to have it turned
We
on.
never had to, because
No, I know, I'm
texted
just
Craig,
saying.
and Craig was like, he texted me back, you need to call Julie because I can't give you the permission to turn it on anymore.
And
I
it's
was
not
like,
so much about the
It's in my
permission.
text, and I'm like, why can't I not turn it on? That's all I'm asking you to do. And he wouldn't answer the phone, so that's when I called you and said,
Right,
hey,
right.
we gotta get this water turned on.
Right, and I did call him back right after I spoke to you, and they couldn't get it to it yesterday afternoon, and first time today, 9 o'clock, and they were there. I don't know what the reason was.
So I guess at the same time, you put the lock on it. Last year, Craig tells me just to cut the lock off because he couldn't get to it and send a picture to him. And I'm like, well, I want it in writing. So that's what I did. I took a picture of it.
Right.
So at the same combinations of what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander, you got somebody that just went above the law that works for you and cut it off. He didn't ask for permission, he just told me to do that. So if I can't hook it up with the RPZ, basically you're telling me it's the same thing, but yet it was okay for Craig to tell me to do that. And then we had the discussion of, when I called Craig to unhook it, and our RPZ froze, which the bill was $5,000 and whatever dollars for a new RPZ, because we didn't buy a standard RPZ. We bought a better one so that we wouldn't have, like what Matt knows, he knows what our RPZ is. We didn't buy something that was cheap. We bought it that it was as high efficiency as we could, and we would never have a problem with idiot proof. And that was the perception. So I guess my point is that, like, can we make a provision that because we know what it is, we can unhook it and hook it? And going forward, this just seems to be kind of ridiculous that we're even talking about. Because when it comes to the fall in here, it's the same problem. It's getting cold weathers. You know, you got neighbors that complain about dust. Well, how are we fighting the dust? We're putting water on. But when we can't have water because it's cold out, there's an issue. So then there's an issue because we get some snow, we turn the piles because that absorbs the water, which stops the dust. Everything's better, and we're kind of fighting it on both ends.
I really don't see a problem. The only, that would be in the fall and in the spring, right?
Yes.
That would have to be off and on. And that you would take it off and on depending on the weather.
Right.
I don't see our people being able to be there to do it.
I mean, that would be tough.
Yeah.
With the weather, you know,
Yeah,
going
it's,
down there at night.
You're there, so you know if the weather forecast is going to be freezing, and you
And
can take it off.
at $5,000, I don't want my RPC breaking it.
Yeah. So I don't really see a problem with doing it, personally. And
Are you saying the code book doesn't allow us flooding?
To a hydrant, just to a hydrant,
Oh.
just to a hydrant. He has a
You can
3-inch
hook it up.
water main there, right? Is it 3 inch?
Inch and a half.
Inch and a half, yeah. He has a service there, made. a
yeah,
regular
that used to be in a building, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing would be, like, if, 'cause, you know, I totally agree with Hans, you know, try to figure out the best solution here so it does work. You got a business to run. So you take the RPZ out for the winter, correct? So when you put that in as a backflow device tester, if I remember correctly, you just reinstall, whether it be an old or a new RPZ, you have to get it tested right
Yeah.
there.
So Jim Russell
Before
was
you put
there
it online.
last night to do it. That was the whole point of him coming yesterday. So basically, he's got to have water to test it. So then he's got to go through and put a stamp down. And he
Yeah,
said,
so you know it all. Yeah,
there's no,
Yeah, I mean, I can't see,
right. The issue is the lock and turning the water on. So I could have turned the water on because all they got to do is turn it. But I'm not going to turn it, and then you have the village come after me, turning the water on. And our RPZ is hooked right up to the water meter. Like I say, it's two different attachments. You can't screw it up. You couldn't cross thread it. It's that big, you know. There's no screwing it up.
I don't see why we need to.
I don't either.
And are you taking it off and on? Feasible thing to do. Or like you say, you don't want to mess with that meter.
But right now, you're all set as of today.
Yep. Well, yes and no, because when it freezes, we got to shut your water off. Because the line comes up out of the ground.
And then what we're saying,
You have to have the lock there.
and that's the issue, is that we would have to
The line,
keep on
they-
coming back and forth and locking it?
You would have to shut the water off where it comes out of the ground so it doesn't freeze in that section.
Yeah, because Friday it's gonna be below freezing. So
Right.
they could do Wednesday and Thursday, and then they have it off Friday. And then you're talking next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and next week is all way below freezing. Like,
And our procedure is that that's when we go and put the lock on or off.
I didn't know about a lock.
So there's a lock that is put on.
I didn't know about a lock. I didn't know about,
I didn't know there was a lock either.
So you have to turn the valve in the ground, okay? And then the water comes up, hook our RPZ, but then there's a lock from village line to the RPZ. So there's two things that have to be done. You have to turn the water off, unlock the RPZ. Same concept. So put it this way, at that amount of water, you're not gonna wanna lose it going down, and we don't wanna lose it going down the road. So we're gonna make sure the line's shut off. I mean, Matt knows, it's our insulation that comes up, we cover it up in the wintertime, so the plow doesn't hit it. It's got insulation, it's got a big steel grate that comes over the top of it. We just need permission to turn it on and not lock it. That's it.
Let's see, why not?
That's just basically a service to, it's just a regular, rather large service to a house.
Yeah.
You could have a ball valve in your house and shit.
It's the simplest.
Thank you.
Not really that serious. The dog park idea, drown it all.
No, it's not dead. Still, the money out there, there's some false claims that got sent out. We'll get into it right now. But, created an issue that could have been prevented, but there's some people that are very strongly opposed to it, even though it's going in an area that's not being utilized for anything else. And if you don't want to go to it, don't go to it. What's that?
Where's the location?
So when you're going down the entrance of the park, just beyond that, the stone parking lot
Okay.
where the trees are.
Where the turn is, kind of?
Yeah. Yeah, that literally is.
Across from the fireman's.
Yeah, it is literally nothing, and probably never will be. So, yeah, I'd like to see it move forward, and hopefully we can get that going here. I'd like to see it get done this summer. Yes, I'm gonna work my tail off to make sure that it does. I think I've had a lot of people ask me about it, wonder where it's going, and even the Lions Club approached me and asked me and said, if you guys aren't going to do it, we'd like our money back. But I said, we're going to do it. This was just, there was a delay, let's put it this way, without getting into it. It was ridiculous.
One other thing too, the sidewalk pad that goes between my driveway and the road it must have heated up and cracked and it's like caving in.
Where are you living now? You're on
38.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do I gotta fix that and bust it up, put a new one in, or that's what the village does? Full patch on it, or stone?
Let Craig take a look at it. We're gonna be doing a lot of sidewalk work. It might even be on the list.
Okay.
You said 38 Genesee, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take a look at it. Have Craig take a look at it. And go from there.
Not terrible, but I mean, once it finally broke. More about it.
I know we do got a list of some areas throughout the village that
Yeah.
the sidewalks are pretty bad.
Well,
So.
probably constantly, nonstop every year.
Yeah.
Spot,
Yeah, the big trees and stuff. And I like even a silver maple. I like silver maples, but they destroy the sidewalks, Yeah, we'll have Craig take a look at it and let you know.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
So we would like to know about our letter that was sent to the village.
That the only concern that I had originally, and I think I talked to you, had a little stand out here in the parking lot that one day. Founder's Day, I think it was. But as far as the road looking like a road, we've talked to you about that, and I read your letter and some of the other things you have done. And I've been through there. And you've done, as far as I'm concerned, took care of that problem that I was concerned, the road, and some of the other things.
And I know you invited me down to take a look at your new implement that you bought there with the water in the front of your Bobcat.
I'm satisfied with what you've done and some of the things you have purchased to accomplish that task. So I have any problem whatsoever.
And nor do I. We haven't received anything back again from Tim Moran, as far as I know. Yeah.
Knives.
Anything back from But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you guys moved the vehicle, right? Which, in my opinion, you know, was petty. I get it, though. It is an ordinance. I mean, the other complaints, I'll be flat out honest with you, I feel is also petty. I know you got to conduct a business. I think you guys, you know, obviously if you're out of compliance or out of ordinance with something, you know, we have to reach out to you. But I think some of this stuff here is, I think it just feels more of a Hatfield McCoy thing. And I'll be honest with you, we spend way too much time and efforts and money into something to, you know, something like this, in my opinion.
But I don't think we got anything back from Tim.
I even feel as though, I mean, yeah, we didn't. But I mean, I'm just flat out saying that I feel as though, I just think that it's petty. I mean, I agree that, you know, with our discussions and with, you know, what we got from Mr. Brown here. I mean, I remember as a kid, that place being logs. I don't understand the difference between the logs or a pile of mulch. I mean, that place used to be just loaded with logs.
Well, then do we need to change the zoning?
Well, I mean, would you like to?
I'm confused.
And the zoning got changed in 2016, but
We're grandfathered in.
Right, I mean, it's a pre-existing use, been there prior to your zoning, that's what my letter addresses.
Right, that's why I
So
don't understand all the
we're-
legal aspects of what was in your letter, but like, we haven't gotten any actual advice, to the best of my knowledge, from Tim over this,
Not that I've seen.
whether or not we were wrong in what we were assuming or any of that, so we're waiting on that, as far as I know.
I guess, like I said, I'm just putting my foot forward, saying that I know how it was then. I don't understand issues with it now. But yeah, we obviously have to
I've
wait.
enjoyed having the three of you come up and see what's going on, so you could see firsthand and coming here, which doesn't do anything for the situation, because you don't know what's going on or what it looks like or where markers are, where the actual road is or anything. And I think that's, you know, key. You know, people read something on Facebook and it's not the way that it was designed to come across. That's the way people take it. And it was a pleasure to have you guys come out, talk about it. You've been there several times. You've listened to what you've had to say, and you've listened to what we've had to say, trying to come together and just behind us.
Yeah.
Because we don't want it to continue.
And nor do we, I think, majority of the board feels that way, if not all. But
I think it's fast.
Thank you.
I think moving forward, I think we need to get a better relationship with everybody and, you know, just work together. And obviously, if there is a big issue, then, you know, we have to address it. Well, safety or, you know, things of that nature. But I think a lot of these small things here, I don't know. Like I say, I remember it as a kid. I don't know why the change. And I understand. I mean, I actually asked Mr. Brown, you know, you hear about the whole grandfather thing. I'm not a lawyer, far from it. So I'll let you started to speak up on it.
Well, it's in the letter, I described,
Yeah,
it's
yep.
even in your ordinance, it talks about the pre-existing use, and that is what it is. I mean, if you use your current zoning law, yes, the one section is all zoned residential. We don't deny that. There was a variance granted, build the office, sign, everything else. I cited all in there, so it's not a violation because it was permitted. I mean, that's
Well,
the
it
nature
is-
of a variance.
And that's where my question is. We haven't gotten that back from our attorney yet. Your claim is that it's grandfathered because of the stuff that you cited in your letter. I understand that, but we have not been advised. And that's why I'm being cautious, because we have our legal as well as you people have your attorney. And I would like to wait and hear from our attorney. And if that is the case, then I would be in favor of changing the zoning for that area so there's no misunderstanding in the future.
That was my suggestion, where I tried to make it positive, not just negative, of These are possible solutions to the problem, the road issue, whether it was, I mean, it's a road to nowhere, much like the parking on the part on Jackson Street going up towards that's not even improved. I mean, that's why I describe it as petty, because no one is going up there for any purpose.
They don't plow it.
They don't, it's not even an improved street. It's basically what's considered a paper street. Sure enough, I read your ordinance. There's no parking on the east side of Jackson Street, from Main Street all the way to the track. So vehicles parked on Jackson Street to the track. Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? My opinion, probably not. Way up there,
And you know what, if it doesn't make any sense, I would say that we should change the zoning. And as a business owner, if you desired zoning changes, I would have thought you would have approached the village, but maybe you didn't think there was an issue
We
because,
never thought there was an issue,
Right.
and then this just
Right.
came up, and then when we got the letter, we're like, gave it over to Gordon and said, how can they even send us a letter when they don't even know what their law reads? And that's basically where it came from, and
right, which is why I go through each set, because I certainly had no idea what the parking regulation was on Windsor Street or any other street in the village of Acton, quite honestly.
but in all
Yeah.
honesty, don't you think as an attorney that if we have a zoning that is improper and leads people to believe and they come and make complaints to the village that, hey, they're in violation, you don't let anybody else get away with this?
It would behoove the bill probably to modify to make it compliant. And I outlined that I'm not even sure when it was passed, if they knew they were making the one piece, because they say they're going by the tax map in the organizational structure. And in fact, the tax map goes across the Windsor-Jackson Street loop as it is. And I tried to use the exact terms that were in your ordinance, because when we start mismashing everything together, some of Tim's letter, use things colloquially, we'll call it. You get confused, because then we're not all talking about the exact same thing.
Right. And I was told that the zoning was the same before that as it is now. There was actually no changes. Now, is that the case, or is that not really the case?
I don't have a map from the pre-26.
I do downstairs.
And I think that's, from my perspective, that's why I'm waiting to hear from Tim, and we haven't heard anything. Or I'm like, okay, fine. But if I'm okay, fine, then I still think it needs to be clear for the future, so that you
So
don't
yes,
get
if we want to address, that's why I said if we want to address.
And I read
that's in our letter, what we
the
wanted.
I read that in your letter.
All those types of things,
Months.
yes.
Yeah.
It would require, you to do long form environmental statement. It has to be referred to the county planning board under the general obligation, general municipal law. Ends in a Q, I remember that. Then it comes back. I think you have to have a public hearing on it.
Yep.
The road abandonment, I think those, I'm not sure if those were acquired by use or by deed. The actual, we're doing that part of it, that's a different thing to do. I know Dave DiMatteo has done a few, because they abandoned Reisdorf Road in the town of Sheldon, they abandoned in the town of Orangeville, they abandoned a section, Teddy West, or Gassman Road, or whatever you call the part past Buffalo Road there, where he has his wedding venue. He has some experience doing it, I've never done it. So, and whether it's different from the town law, the village law,
We'll find it out.
I mean, I can look at, if we want to pursue it, certainly that can be a discussion
that might
going forward.
That might
I
be
mean, it's
where we
kind of
wind
like
up.
the water thing, with the lock, or whether we modify the code. I mean, if it's that big of a deal, and say other people can hook up to the thing, if you have the right, what is the RPZ to attach to. you don't want the fertilizer guy in the city of Buffalo attaching, but Shannon and maybe the railroad, they have the right equipment, and, you know, why have them driving back and forth and probably paying overtime if you're shutting down at 9 o'clock at night because, oh, it's gonna freeze.
Right.
But Mr. Dones here, of course, ran it right up till midnight practically, trying to get his product out, which I didn't see. And that seems like a sensible solution. I mean, I don't know where that, is that in a rule of the water?
It's been in there.
Okay.
I only know it because I remember Brian talking about it.
Right, I mean, I didn't look at those sections.
See, and I didn't understand the reasoning behind all this until you explained it this evening.
Yeah.
And I didn't know we had a lockdown.
That was another.
We don't know all those little details from sitting up here, in
No,
all honesty.
and I've heard they've had a lockdown.
And that seems to be, we're getting that it's sort of directed at our package. Nobody else has a lock, why do you, and certainly I would think the quantities of water that he uses, if you tried to bypass the meter, you would very quickly figure out that, you know, it's gonna be much more than your $500 bill that the meter didn't catch up with. You know what I mean? I mean, you're gonna know within one day practically, I would expect, that, we're way low on water and we're not showing any production. Who else uses that quantity?
Oh, there's jail,
The jail.
Hillcrest, laundromat.
Car wash.
Car wash.
Okay.
Yeah, we got quite a few. If he was using that water, I wouldn't know. I go looking for water breaks on the ground.
Hmm.
But now, just so you know, Shannon, if you hook it up with no lock or anything, and we do have a water break, we're coming to look. So don't think that we're picking on you. We're gonna come and make sure. Because we do check all those big places first.
Yes, that's perfectly, yes. I was more kidding that you're gonna kind of know. I mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna be looking for the leak, you know?
No, like I say, I mean, I stand by what I say, that, you know, it's obviously my opinion, but, you know, we'll wait until we receive word from Tim Moran, and that's where we go from there. As soon as he advises, we'll let you know, and hopefully we can have some better just communication, some better relationship all around. You know, I just think, that, especially in small towns, you know, we just don't need these things. It's all got to work together.
That's what we want.
I know.
I told I don't know where we went wrong. But it's been many years of battle. And that's not who we want to be. And I feel like I don't know how to break the cycle because we don't know what we do. You guys, maybe you know, and maybe you could enlighten us so we could correct it. Because we want peace and harmony in our business in this village. So that when you need us, when something, a storm happens, we'd be happy to come with our loaders and help. We've helped our neighbors. We've plowed their driveways, we've pulled them out of the ditches, we've gone on their, helped them with, that's what we want to do. We care about the people, and whether we know you or we don't. And so it bothers us that
I don't know too many people. You can call town of Clarence, but we all know we had a storm Christmas, right, this year? And he called up, we were opening gifts, and said, Shannon, I know you have loaders and whatnot, we do a lot of business with the town of Clarence. I said to Jamie on the phone, I said, Jamie, whatever you need, you're more than welcome to have it. I said, just let me know, I'll have to get a hold of some guys, if they'll come in. If we can't get guys, if you guys need to use our loaders, that's what we did. We sent them loaders up there, we didn't charge them for it, and they did removal for 3 days. He called me up 2 weeks later, and he says, we got to write you a check. And I says, You do what you feel. I was just trying to help your community out. We've done a lot of business together. And he rattled numbers off to us, and I'm like, Gene, like, whatever you feel, I'm not gonna send you a bill. Like, we're fine. And they sent us a check in the mail, and that was the end of it. Would that ever happen in the village in the past previous time? No. The village residents next to us, we plow their driveways. We've blown their driveways out. Never had anything. I can tell you how many of them bring us over cookies and coffee and hot chocolate and try to pay us, and we don't want their money. Just trying to be near.
That's why some of this stuff just doesn't add up.
You also give them mulch too. I know, I understand,
That's
right
correct.
far in your letter. I wish I lived in
All right, so yeah, when we hear back from Tim, we'll reach out to you and go from there. And hopefully, moving forward, hopefully, like I say, a better relationship. Squash a lot of the stuff. And we'll rid the lock.
Can we shut the water off, or should I have?
Oh, no, if
Shut the
you give
water
it
off?
inch, you want a mile. No.
Or Matt, do you want to come down and show me the official way to shut the water off?
Actually, yeah, it would be Justin would have to show, I just, because he does all the plumbing. I'm just basically the water plant guy, but he can, you probably, right?
Yeah, I would think Justin.
Justin.
So the
You know
status
that,
is right now, it's still on?
It's on right now.
You don't
And
need
we're not
it
gonna freeze
though. You're
tonight.
not gonna freeze till Friday night, so he'll be fine.
Okay.
Even if he wants to stop down in the next couple of days during the day, we'll be there all day.
You want to
show us
shut
how
I'll
to
talk
shut
to
it off,
Justin
and-
tomorrow.
Yeah, because I
She'll
understand.
talk to Justin.
We don't want it, because there is things that the guys are doing throughout the day. I mean, I don't know what was going on yesterday, I can't answer that, but, you know, certainly don't want to go back and forth, so we can come up with something here that makes everybody, you know,
Makes it
happy.
easier for everybody.
Yeah,
And there's no sense. He can turn it on and off. He can, makes no sense.
make hay when the sun shines, right?
That was happened yesterday.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Thank you for coming. All right, so with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, or do we have anything?
I'll make a motion to adjourn then.
Got a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Hope everybody has a good night. Thank you all for coming.
That's my mom. Rose.
Yeah, Matt, we'll take a look at that. I'll either see you at work or Craig will.
Like I said, if I got to do it myself ahead, so I just didn't know if I should ask first.
And like I say, it might even be on the list, sidewalks and areas or what have you. Yeah, don't forget that. Everybody take a,
What? I got a quick question
Take
for
all
you.
surveys.
With their, accident at the
take a survey, Matt.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll make with him, Julie.
Yeah.
When you're doing a comprehensive plan, is there a plan to redo zoning?
Yes,
To
we
in
did
the
discuss, yep.
future, I usually do a comprehensive plan first and then do a.
Are you brainstorming at the moment?